about 6 or 7 years ago, Danny came to me again wanting to do a sequel. He said enough time had passed. And I was excited by the idea.
And I thought maybe there is a second story to be told here. So 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, I sat down and I wrote the first draft of what would eventually become the sequel.
The story of the Blues Brothers basically is, this takes place 18 years later when Danny is finally getting out. Elwood Blues has finally been released from prison. He has not heard about Jake's death, and once informed realizes that he has lost his brother, he has no career, no future, and he doesn't know what he's going to do.
This movie's about family, and it's about Elwood's loss and how he redeems himself. And you know, at the end of this one, we have 4 Blues Brothers.
My character is this orphan, and Elwood he has to take care of me because the Penguin tells him to be a mentor. Have you ever heard of mentoring? And he's like, no. So then he has to take care of me, and then the cops think he's kidnapped me. So my character is this little orphan that's kidnapped by Elwood.
Elwood learns rather quickly about Jake's death. He learns that Curtis, the character played by Cab Calloway, died also while he was in prison.
Cab had an affair with a woman somewhere in the Midwest, and the product of that affair was me. So Elwood thinks, aha, I have a stepbrother somewhere in the world, and he comes looking for me, only to find out that I am the commander of the Illinois State Police.
What the story does is it traces the next handful of days when Dan tries to put the band back together and all of the different people they encounter and the adventures that ensue.
So I needed, obviously, somebody with a great male, all-male presence, kind of a Midwestern tinge in the voice, if he could do that. Someone who could sing and dance.
I'm working in a bar where Elwood's the MC slash singer, and Spieler, Barker, and I've always wanted to sing, so I make a deal with Elwood, and I help him out with something, he lets me sing, and wind up rather abruptly joining the tour.
You know, Goodman really seemed like the one that could do it.
He was the perfect guy to choose for this, as far as we're concerned. All the guys in the band love him, and I think it's mutual. I think he feels the same way about us.
The guy, he's a consummate artist, he's intelligent, he's smart, he's funny.
I'm in showbiz heaven.
The most intriguing aspect of this production for me was to continue the story of these characters 17 or 18 years after the first one, and they're being played by the same actors, playing the same characters, and they are 17 or 18 years older. That is very cool.
Being back on the set of the Blues Brothers 2000 is a little bit of deja vu for me. I remember having flashes of the original movie and being on the set with a lot of the same people.
So when Dan finally said, we're going to do another movie, he said it 5 years ago. Well, I expected it to be the following year, and then as a couple of years went by, I said, well, maybe it's not going to happen.
17 years between hits it's bizarre and wonderful, actually.
During the rebirth of the band on the road, when we went out and played concert tours, people were saying, why don't you do another movie? Why don't you do another movie?
It's absolutely spectacular. I prayed for this event to occur for many, many years.
Well, you know, I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, script-wise and entertainment and all that, I think it's better than the other one.
It's a rare opportunity to explore what happens in people's lives that much later without, like, fake makeup and stuff.
20 years later to be able to be here, doing what I would have done the first time, picking it up, as it were, 20 years later is pretty neat.
It's all about attitude. Attitude, girls. Play back.
Landis and I have an understanding between us, sort of a shorthand. I respect his gift and from where he came, and I think he has a mutual feeling that way. We like each other.
John Landis is exactly the same. He looks exactly the same, and he acts exactly the same. And he maintains his sense of humor on the set. And I think that helps keep everybody loose and jovial and not too serious.
And ready? Action.
This man is showing that he really knows what's happening making movies.
He's very funny. He He'll scream after a day, brilliant, brilliant, great, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, we'll do it again.
He knows us pretty well, you know. They didn't have to throw up any magic mirrors or anything. We all know each other, so it's been a lot of fun.
He's very warm, very considerate, and he's driven.
Comparing the first Blues Brothers movie to this one is sort of like the old hippie who says, if you remembered the 60s, you weren't there, you know what I mean?
All right, here we go, everybody. John is having so much fun shooting this thing, and Dan and everybody is having such a great time that I think that it comes off on the screen.
The blues are not about all the artists who've gone before and been venerable and should be recognized for their old contributions. The blues is about, you know, an ongoing feeling in American culture that will never go away.
Dan is not given the credit due
I don't
him.
know what's worse, the rain here or also climbing in the bluesmobile. You wrote it.
He is really a good actor and has broad range.
His parents did a fine job raising him. This guy does what I think any of us said, if I win the lottery, here's what I'm going to do. Well, Danny, we know, is a very successful man, a very creative man, but he's so well-intentioned in all his efforts. He's so helpful, kind, generous, all the positives you can say about a person.
We've got an extremely hard-working crew, and they've been really busting it for us. And, you know, this is sort of for them in a way. They're walking around with smiles that are just hurting the back of their heads. And so, you know, it's a lot of love in the room, and love and respect for these tremendous artists on stage right here.
Working with him again here in the movie is just wonderful. I at one time I thought maybe I didn't know whether it was going to happen again, but it happened, and I'm so happy. I'm very, very happy that it happened. Danny has just been phenomenal in pursuing this and making sure that it happened again.
He is just, he's a godfather. And he's, the world needs more Dan Aykroyds.
1, 2.
The Blues Brothers and the Blues Brothers Band treat this music with respect and give it right tribute and play it well. And so it's just really kind of a verification of what we're up to.
Did you hear who some of the members of the Gator Boys were? Pretty much everybody.
Just blew me away. I was looking at Bo Diddley, and I'm looking at B.B. King, and I'm looking at Mr. Vaughn, and a few other guys. Eric Clapton. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm going, how did they get these people here, all in one? We all were together. I can't believe that.
I like being in the Blues Brothers movie because there's a whole bunch of characters in it.
I mean, this is probably literally a once-in-a-lifetime grouping of some of the best musicians in all kinds of music that have been around forever. I mean, I'm just thrilled to be here.
I'm playing with people who I grew up listening to, people who I had heard many, many times before I'd even picked up an instrument. So I'm thrilled. I'm just honored to be on the stage with them.
Love it. Oh, love it. Oh, God, history's being made. I love it.
We just had a good old time.
This devilish thing is going to be out of sight.
I think they'll just be, you know, literally pushed out of their seats and start jumping around and start dancing.
I can't wait until tomorrow and the next day when they're going to be even more just play in front of us.
The sequel has been a validation of how successful we were in certain aspects of the first one, in terms of calling attention to this great black American music. And it's been very gratifying who is in the new one, who has contacted us to be in the new one is very exciting.
Blues Brothers 2000. See it.
club where we came up with the Blues Brothers was a speakeasy that I had in Toronto, and we had a party there, and we started to play old blues records, and I had a Downchild blues band. Put them on. He said, "Who's this?" I said, "Well, this is Downchild Blues Band, a local blues band." He said, "You're from Chicago." I said, "John, you should know about the blues." He said, "Well, I'm into Grand Funk and Allman Brothers." I said, "Well, that's all blues." And sort of I reacquainted him with blues, and he reacquainted me with sort of heavy metal. And Howard Shore was in the place that night. He eventually became musical director of Saturday Night Live. And we were saying, "Oh, we should put a band together." And he said, "Yeah, you could call yourself the Blues Brothers." Subsequently, that's what we did.
The Blues Brothers Band is an amazing group of musicians, and basically it's a Memphis rhythm section with a New York horn section. And the idea of taking that kind of fatback rhythm and putting slick New York horns on top of it, combined with the special vocals and harp playing of Dan Aykroyd, was really amazing. They were a great band and great to listen to. If you listen to the records, you can hear them doing great stuff.
We tried to, pick blues songs that weren't Delta blues. We've never been a Delta blues band, and Delta blues is the primitive rural blues. We were always a Chicago electrified urban blues band fused with the Memphis Stax Volt movement. And so I think what we tried to do is represent that in the movie. It was the best way we could.
And part of the success of the Blues Brothers, here were two actors playing singers, and they successfully, obviously I can say this now in hindsight, but the creation of the mythology of these characters has been very strong, very successful. I mean, to the point where it's kind of scary, where I meet people who tell me, Jake and Elwood Blues are these, legendary blues artists. And I think, uh-oh.
The band has a lot of meaning for me, obviously, from an emotional sense. We loved doing the first movie. We did 3 albums. We did the first record, Briefcase Full of Blues. We did the soundtrack, and we did the Made in America album.
Won't you welcome from Calumet City, Illinois, the show band of Jolie and Jake and Elwood Blues, the Blues Brothers.
Aykroyd and Belushi had signed a deal with Atlantic Records, and there was some excitement about it at the studio.
They forced us to do the movie. We were in a situation where the Blues Brothers was a development deal.
I really didn't know how to write movies. I didn't know anything. I don't think I'd ever even seen a screenplay. I was told that most screenplays were, 120 to 150 pages long, but when I sat down to write The Blues Brothers, there were so many descriptive passages in there, just paragraphs and paragraphs of shots, of concept, of ideas, of descriptions, and eventually it just kind of ballooned up.
Dan Aykroyd had written actually a 324-page script that actually had a story for recruiting each member of the band individually.
We called it The Return of the Blues Brothers, and basically it was 2 scripts. It was the original and a sequel, and that's why it came out to 300-plus pages.
It had great ideas and epic characters and a real respect for the music, and it was pretty, it was big. It was big.
Now that script, which by the way was delivered to me in the covers of the Valley Yellow Pages, because it was as big as a phone book, so I think Dan Aykroyd tried to take a little of the sting out with a little humor, actually making it look like a phone book.
When I handed it in, I didn't know what Landis was going to do with it or how he's going to manage it down, but he was an accomplished filmmaker. He had written scripts before, and he was able to take it and distill it down to an actual form of screenplay at 120 pages.
We started shooting before we had a finished screenplay, really.
It's a good movie. It's about Chicago. It's about music.
It's about 2 hours.
There's no sex and no drugs in the movie.
We were fortunate enough to find the Dixie Mall in Harvey, Illinois. This was an abandoned mall. It was a 1 in a million. I mean, you just don't go around finding these things abandoned. And in fact, we felt like archaeologists from the 31st century or something, going into this place with our flashlights. All the power was off, dust flying everywhere, and the place had been closed for over a year.
I'm proud to say we were the first movie to trash a mall, because I thought, And so that sequence came out of Location Scout.
It was just perfect for what we wanted. And we ended up shooting there for, like, I think a week.
I do remember that Danny Aykroyd thought that shooting at that mall was just one of the greatest things he'd ever seen, that he'd thought this up, and here it was, this bizarre car chase combining, consumer goods and police cars, and his own mall. And I'll never forget just the sheer delight that this, idea he'd had late one night was now being played out in a very big way.
I remember there was a specific thing where we wanted to drop the Pinto belonging to the Illinois Nazis past the sky. You wanted to see it fall past the skyline. And so how we were going to do that was actually drop the Pinto from a helicopter. We had to have the Ford Pinto certified by the FAA. They actually wanted to know about its unairworthiness because they were afraid it might have, be like an airfoil and somehow in the middle of the drop go sailing off over Lakeshore Drive. So we had to do drop tests where we dropped the Pinto from the helicopter, had to hit a specific place. We were using the area where they store salt that gets spread during the snowstorms of the winter, that has nothing on it during the summer and is away from a populated area, although it is within the city. And so we proved to the FAA in the city that we could hit a mark, and we dropped this Pinto and it fell right on the X where we wanted it and flattened it. It was about this high when we got done with it. But that's how we were able to do that shot.
I've always loved you.
There are certain singers, B.B. King, Aretha Franklin, who have trouble with lip sync and to playback. And the reason for that is interesting. It's because they never sing a song the same way twice. So it's quite great if you're seeing them live, but if you're trying to shoot them to playback, it's a huge pain in the ass because it's like, what is your mouth doing?
The only problem that you have editing musical numbers is do performers do it the same way, take after take? And can they lip sync their dialogue, their song, especially if they're the ones that have made the song famous? I'm not going to mention any names here.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me, yeah. Think, let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go bang, let's go bang, let's go where.
Aretha sang Think, and she sang Think because I love that song and I wanted her to sing Think. And a lot of people said, how come she didn't sing Respect?
30 years ago when we did it in '67, it was just a groovy song that expressed some of my sentiments, personal sentiments. And yes, it became an anthem.
I said when I woke up this morning, I heard a disturbing sound. What I heard was the jingle of 1,000 lost souls.
The James Brown scene that takes place in the church, we found that James couldn't sing the same way twice. And so what we did is we took the track, the music itself, and that was done to playback, and people sang to playback except for James Brown, and we recorded his lead vocal live.
Let us preach and hold, it's time to preach and hold. Preach, hear it, cut, and it will.
They were not easy numbers to cut. Lots of takes, lots of different camera angles to choose from. Performance variations. Those are hard days to shoot those scenes, and I think they looked pretty good.
When you shoot someone live, lip sync's not a problem because they're live. In the first movie, John Lee Hooker is live, James Brown was live, Ray Charles was playback, Aretha was playback, and all the Blues Brothers stuff was playback. But it really makes no difference because the artists are the ones who perform it regardless. It's for technical reasons whether it's live or not.
Walked through a party in a county jail. Prison man was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. Should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing, let's rock.
It's always frustrated me that many people don't consider the movie a musical, which makes me nuts, because it has more music than most musicals.
He's not denying that they're car chases. Of course they're car chases. But there was a rhythm to them. They were musical numbers. They were production numbers. And if you just listen to the scoring and look at what you're seeing on the screen, those cars were dancing, baby. Those cars were dancing.
He's a great director. He's like a directing animal. He's like an animal. If there was an animal called a director, it would be John Landis.
John Belushi said something to me one day that turns out to be quite funny in retrospect. He says, Bones, I'm going to make you the most famous trombone player since Jimmy Dorsey. And I never had the heart to tell him that Jimmy Dorsey was a saxophone player.
You create a world completely from the ground up. You make your own universe. And the Blues Brothers is its own universe. It's its own mythology.
I would have never imagined that 17 years later I would still be playing with the same guys.
Dan Aykroyd has helped blues probably more than anybody, and John Belushi if he hadn't died. I think from that first movie, there was some criticism given to John and Danny, but they've done more for blues than anybody in the last 20 years.
All blues music has great humor in it, and just the rhythms and the the feeling of joy that comes from singing it and playing it. I think we viewed all of it as being able to be relatively easily transmitted out there to the audience, and it ignited us, and therefore we felt that we could probably ignite an audience with it.
Certainly I did something right, because people love these characters, and they're wonderful things in the movie. And I have to say that, you know, Dan Aykroyd's passion for rhythm and blues and basically black American music, one of the things the movie did quite successfully was draw attention back to these great artists. And you talk to James Brown or Aretha Franklin or any of these people, and they'll tell you their careers were revitalized, you know, and I'm proud of that. You know, I really am proud of that.
It broadened my audience, and it certainly introduced people to me who were not aware of who I was.
As soon as I got with the Blues Brothers band and we did the Blues Brothers movie 1, I couldn't believe how I was accelerated, man.
I just knew we were making a great movie. In my heart, I knew.